What's up guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to a new market update because it's Sunday. Today, like usual, we're going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum and gold, what I did in the past week and what we can expect next week. Like and subscribe, as mentioned for several times now, we're very close to 100 subscribers, so that would be very nice to have 100 subscribers anytime soon. So I would really appreciate if you subscribe and surely if you like the content. Let's get into the video and start with Bitcoin as always. And Bitcoin, I don't want to be that guy, but Bitcoin kind of did what I wouldn't say expected, but what I said that was a possible scenario. Like last week we were here, we made a new high the week before, 2 weeks before even, and Bitcoin was trying, but we were making new lows. And I said here that yes, we made a new low, we picked up liquidity here, but we see that the reaction wasn't super. And we didn't saw a reaction like this, even though this is not a sweep, or like this, what we see right now, but in a second. So it was surely possible that we couldn't hold the $80,000. Why not fully go back to the 75,000 or even the 74,000? Because we're not seeing any buying pressure, price is failing to make new highs. Why not go back and pick up more liquidity and then we can maybe try again? And that's exactly what price did. You see, they tried, but yeah, they couldn't even gain this level. Move to the low on Monday. They failed, and then Friday and Saturday surely. Saturday was a pretty big dump. I don't know, surely on Ethereum as well, as you see. Was a pretty big dump. Don't know why that happened in the weekend, but you see, first they sweep this level, tried, failed, as you see with the wick, failed, and then dump further. And no, it was not Bitcoin, or was it Bitcoin? It was indeed Bitcoin, I think, that perfectly sweep this level. No, it was Ethereum, my bad. So yeah, Bitcoin swept this, picked up all liquidity here, didn't tap that level, that would have been even better, but it's fine. And then you see a strong reaction. Because this bump of 4%, we couldn't have that here because there was just no fuel, no gas for the car to move, if you get what I mean, if you still don't understand perfectly how liquidity works. Now they picked up all these liquidity, they picked up, they triggered all the stop losses, all the TPs, whatever, and then with this reaction you get a counter reaction because there's just more buy orders there in forms of just orders, but also TPs and stop losses because people short. And then with the initial pump, as you see, people get stopped out, and then you get even a bigger pump. So now we're back at where we were before the dump on Friday, but this is way more positive than, let's say, we would have been just doing this and we're still there. This is way more meaningful because now we know what happened. Price made a new low. Locally, of course, not if you look to the full range. Price made a new low, which is good, picked up liquidity, we saw strong reaction, and now the follow-up is the most important, of course, because if you have like here, if we now have this, then we can expect another dump to another level, and then they try again, once again, just the same principle, same thing. So what we want to see right now is price making a follow-up. Does that mean on the Monday we should pump 10%? Like always I say, no, we just need to, in the run of the week, we need to start going back to the 80k. If we're not at 80k at the end of the week, that's no problem, but we need to gain this level, the move to the low on the Monday. We need to move to this, and then we want to see there we can range, that's fine, and then try to push it to 80,000. But it's not fine or not positive if you start ranging here and start making new lows like we have seen here. So that's not positive. So at the moment Bitcoin is looking well. We're in the same spot as last week basically, but we saw nice price action on the Saturday, very healthy price action, very important price action. So I'd say for Bitcoin it's looking pretty okay for the moment. And Ethereum did the same thing, of course. On Monday where we had Sunday here, crashed immediately through it on the Monday. They did not hold this, even though this was also of course not the strongest support level. Crashed big, then ranging, but failing to even gain this level, or this what I indicated. Ranging, and on Friday, Saturday they've had enough. There was not enough buy orders to support it. They crashed with a new low, and it was Ethereum perfectly wicked this. This one I believe. I already moved it, I had that one also shared in the daily update, so that long would have been perfect. What is that, a 4% pump? 5 to 6% up, that would have been a very nice trade, but of course I was shitting myself and didn't take a trade. But it's fine. Now this is our main hold. I was looking for a long here in this range to pull back long, but they just said fuck your pullback, fuck your hold, we're just pumping, which is fine of course. We made a new high here around, that's not a new high in this range, but that's irrelevant for now because we just want to see price hold this. Bitcoin does not really, oh they do have as well, don't know what I'm saying. Bitcoin also has this level they surely need to hold, and Ethereum, it's just important to hold this level price can even come back to this and to this. But it's important because I mentioned on Bitcoin, let's go back for a second, that we need a follow-up. And a follow-up means price has to do something. Like we saw here. Price, it's better that price does this, goes back to the hold and shows a reaction, than the price just does this, but because this means the market is not interested, there's not a buying pressure to make new highs, there's not much volume. That's not something positive for traders, for investors, for everyone. So with me saying there has to be a follow-up, that means there has to come a move either down, and then of course here it's do or die time. If you don't hold this, we make new lows. It shouldn't be difficult to understand. Or price has to range a bit and then try to look for the upside. But one of those two has to happen, and the same thing on Ethereum. Either we go back here, would be a perfect trade, so surely look out for that. Back to the hold or the local origin and make new highs. Or price says we leave this as an emergency spot for, let's say we go here, but we fail that we still have this zone. Then yeah, price just does this, try to gain this, and then of course it can range there, and then slowly next week, in 2 weeks, go back above the 2,200, because Ethereum also dropped. They were almost at 2,500 past couple of weeks ago. They dumped harder than Bitcoin, and now you see they're almost at 2k again. I think they almost went under 2k, yeah, which is Ethereum has been a bit behind. If you compare it to Bitcoin past weeks, isn't necessarily bad. No, not necessarily, but it's also nothing positive. So that's for crypto. They had a meaningful weekend with the sweep, and they had a very good reaction pump, and now we expect a follow-up either up or down, and then if it's down, of course, this zone and the zone on Bitcoin is do or die time. Otherwise we're going to go below the 2,000 on Ethereum and also below the 75, 74, maybe even lower on Bitcoin. Now gold, I mean, gold is just in its own world if you treat it like a person or one thing. Gold is in their own world. Last week's doing things. We pump, range, dump, pump, whatever. Yeah, the structure on gold is just a bit weird in my opinion, because if I purely look at this from a price action perspective, we made a complete new low. This dump was crazy, of course. We started gaining nice momentum, and then of course we can't pump forever, so we make a pullback, sweep this. We fail to make a new high, so we fail to make a new high here, and then we dump, and then we pick up this liquidity and try it from there. But there's not much there. If you fail 2 times, then this area, because this was already swept here, this was all swept, this area, is that really interesting? Is that really going to make the move to 5k again above this? I doubt it. So surely, because you see there was a pump, because they sweep something, of course, but the reaction is pretty meh. So I would say gold would make newer lows, and this is probably one of the, it's not picture perfect of course, but this is if you are a bit advanced in price action, you don't have to be an expert or a profitable trader even, then you can literally read this chart and say we failed to make a new high with this sweep. The sweep is not this sweep that like we dump here, that's normal, make a pullback, we sweep something, okay, we get a reaction, but here we failed to make a new high, so we make new lows. Then you expect a fully new low to sweep something and not just this and try again. Of course that can happen, I'm not saying it happens 100% of the times, but it would be very logic that prices go back to this hold or even this hold, pick up that liquidity and try again from there. And then same situation as this pullback. If they then fail to make a high above this, then they just make another low. It sounds simple, but it is basically that simple. Again, I'm not saying gold could do this, but from all things I've seen, I've learned, is this the most probable situation to happen, and trading is still a game of probabilities. So surely expect gold to dump even further. Not saying this necessarily, but a retest of this level or even this level is surely possible, because if we look at the past months, what is that, March, so two months, around 2 months, it's not looking too well because we keep making lower lows, and that's like one of the first steps in price action. A downtrend means lower lows, lower highs, and then yeah, you keep making new lows until you gain something. And what we have to gain right now is not necessarily the top before you can say, oh, we're switching to an uptrend, but surely this level, the move to the low, you have to gain that, and then we can say, of course, okay, we're back in an uptrend, or there's some potential for gold to go back to the 5k. But now the chart is looking pretty weak, to be honest. They do still have some emergency support zones, holds, origins, so it's not like gold is going to dump to below 4k anytime soon. That not, we're still in this range, but it's also not looking like gold is escaping this range anytime soon. It was looking good here after this pump, this retest, but then you see the follow-ups were pretty meh. But for now, that was it. Bitcoin, Ethereum did something very good during the weekend, but now there has to come a follow-up, of course. Gold, bit of a different situation. But I expect new lows on gold. Don't just short on a Monday morning when the market opens. But I do personally expect new lows on gold. And then I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to stay tuned, subscribe, as I mentioned. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.